Of all the movies that I didn't get around to seeing in a theater this past year, this one makes me the saddest that I missed it. It's Dunkirk, and it's been one of the most celebrated movies of 2017, and it's easy to see why. Dunkirk is directed by Christopher Nolan, and I think this has to be his most triumphant film to date. It's a retelling of the evacuation of Dunkirk during World War II, and as far as war films go, it has one of the most ambitious styles of storytelling I've seen, as it intertwines three different perspectives of the war, each on a different course of time. One by land over the course of a week, one by water over the course of one day, and one by air over 1 hour. As the three stories begin to overlap, we get a solid and complete look at the human toll and sacrifices made during this war-as-hell masterpiece. The story set on land, titled The Mole, sees Kenneth Branagh as a commander determined to get as many men off the beach as possible. It also follows several English soldiers as they fight to survive their last days on the beach and make several attempts to escape. From the sea, Mark Rylance plays a mariner who bravely takes his small vessel into the war zone to try and be of some assistance during the evacuation. From above it all, we find Tom Hardy as a pilot combating Nazi dive bombers. Earlier this year, we saw a jovial little film called Their Finest, a movie about making a propaganda film about the Dunkirk evacuation. It acted as a tribute to both archaic propaganda films of old, as well as to the people who gave their lives during the evacuation and the entire war, and I highly recommend that movie as well. Dunkirk joins the ranks of top-caliber war dramas, from Oliver Stone's Platoon and Steven Spielberg's Saving Private Ryan to early and mid-20th century classics like All Quiet on the Western Front and Stanley Kubrick's Paths of Glory. Dunkirk is considered one of the most incredible films of the year for good reason. The next movie I want to talk about today isn't quite as bold as Dunkirk. It's a movie called All Saints. All Saints is a Christian drama based on a true story about a church in Smyrna, Tennessee that was forced to be closed until a group of Southeast Asian refugees joined the congregation and helped save it by starting a farm on the land. John Corbett plays the pastor of the small church who does his godliest best to help the refugees who just fled a war-torn Thailand. Christian-based films like these are ones I usually try to avoid. A lot of them have too much of a made-for-TV feel, while others are just downright bigoted. All Saints is a well-meaning but too forced faith-based drama, covered in a thick layer of saccharine sweetness you would usually find on ABC Family or the Hallmark Channel. John Corbett and Nelson Lee, the actor who plays one of the refugees, do most of the carrying in a film that never quite rises to the level of their performances. All Saints tries, I think, to convey a timely message paralleling America's current refugee crisis with Christian hospitality, but if it is, the message is all too faint, buried in a movie so predictable and schmaltzy that it eventually just turned into white noise. The religiosity in All Saints isn't likely to reach anyone outside its aimed demographic, unlike movies like Silence or Hacksaw Ridge that deal with faith and religion in a much broader and more accessible way. While I don't recommend All Saints, I do so in the softest and most understanding way that I possibly can. Last movie on my list for today is Stronger. Based on the true story of Jeff Bowman Jr., a Boston native who was injured during the 2014 marathon bombing. Bowman lost both his legs in one of the blasts, and Stronger documents the challenges he faced after the life-altering incident. Jake Gyllenhaal gives an incredible performance as Bowman, who becomes a locally recognized icon of hope and patriotism and is forced to take on an unwanted burden of fame. Although the Massachusetts Capitol is celebrating Bowman, we can't help but feel sadness for him as no one around him, not even his family, seems to understand the pain he's going through as he completes physical therapy and just tries to get his old life back together. The movie also introduces us to the role his girlfriend Erin Hurley played in his recovery. She's played by Tatiana Maslany, and she offers another emotional tentpole to the story as she does all she can to help someone she cares about while we begin to understand the toll the whole ordeal has taken on her as well. While it may look like just another overcoming the odds true story on the surface, Stronger is much more than that. It stays out of typical inspirational cliches by letting us experience Bowman's hardships firsthand. The movie is directed by David Gordon Green, a director known for breaking conventions, and he doesn't coat this story in a single drop of made-for-TV sap. Stronger is a challenging, hard-hitting film about a hero who doesn't feel very heroic. Thank you so much for watching. As usual, I'm Logan D. McCoy, and this is Real McCoy Reviews.
You remind me of my son. He died. Helping you made me feel like I helped my son. And for that, I am grateful.
You're grateful.